right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to one more episode of Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I almost forgot the name of the show. That would have been something. But it's Let's Talk About It Tuesday, and I'm here with our panel of not guests, but co-hosts. I guess we should call. We got to come up with a snazzy name for that, right? Because I don't like to say guests. So I don't know, but we'll say our panel of co-hosts who are here each and every week with us. Unfortunately, our Dr. Suzette Robinson is not with us this evening. She is enjoying her anniversary. So she's away on a trip right now. But we're going to continue on with our topic from last week, which was talking about preparing for a professional career. But before we go back into that, we want to say good evening to our guests and allow them to say good evening to you. So I'll start with Miss Shanae Starnes.
Absolutely. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Shanae Starnes, and I am a licensed cosmetologist, an educator, as well as a trichologist. And I enjoy helping professionals really hone in on developing hair loss solutions for their clients, as well as helping clients as well. I'm out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm excited to be here today.
All right. And next we have Marguerite Moten.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marguerite Moten. I'm the owner of Amoa Hair Studios in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm your hair loss practitioner. Welcome.
All right. And I forgot myself. So before we go into our featured co-host for the evening, I'll just tell you a quick little bit about myself. My name is Dr. Rashawn Broadnex, and I am here in the Washington, D.C. area. I am a non-surgical hair loss specialist. I specialize in everything hair extension, and I absolutely love it. I love being able to create pieces for people to wear just as fashion, or if they feel like they really need them to be able to conduct their everyday lives to make them feel as comfortable and as beautiful as they need to feel. So that is what I do here, right here in the Washington, D.C. area. And last but definitely not least, I'll bring in Dr. Pam Hill, all the way from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Good evening. Welcome back to our Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I'm talking like you, Dr. Rashawn. Get my words out. So I'm glad for y'all all to be here. Our topic that we're going to be discussing and continuing is actually professional preparation for a promising career. Yeah. And we had some good answers and thoughts and little nibbits for us to actually help other people, just stay professional. When it comes to our profession, we get away from the professionalism part of it. A lot of times, we get up, being that we work for ourselves, we roll out of bed and wear what we want to wear, throw on some sweats and throw on this leggings and all type of things. What do y'all feel about, that? I know I've done it and I've caught myself a couple of times because you trap what you are. Mm-hmm. So if you come in looking like you just roll out of bed, guess what you're going to target? Those clients that just roll out of bed, that want miracles. So I wanted to ask the question, how do you feel far as what you should wear when you go to work? How what type of clothing you should wear? I just put the question out there to you guys.
And you might get different answers on that.
Right. But yeah. I want, because everybody's professionalism is different. Mm-hmm. And now that we in this age, especially with our younger generation, their professionalism is totally different from the old school generation. When you went to go to an interview, you wore stockings, which I don't like, but you wore skirts, appropriate, fitting, and all type of things. But nowadays, they come in tanks and cut off jeans and thigh-high boots and like they about to go to happy hour.
Well, I think it goes back to, I think we hit on it last week. It goes back to them researching where they're going to and really reviewing and looking at the culture of the salon. Because I have been in salons where there was a bit of a uniformity that was expected. And then I've worked in a salon where I was the one that, I didn't have a uniform demand, but I made sure that my shoes were comfortable. I made sure that I looked decent, looked good as I was preparing my client's hair. But like I said, it's going to be different. We'll go around the table and everybody's going to have a different spin to it, because again, I think it goes back to when you start to become an owner of a business, you have every right to dictate and to create the business plan on what your vision is. And so because of that, how you want your salon to look, down to even the science of the employees or the people that will rent a booth in your establishment, what that expectation is. And if you don't have that, then that's the area that we need to get cleared up so that you can attract the right people, to your business. So that's what I would add to that.
Well, I was gonna say that me personally, and sometimes, like you say, Pam, you put on or whatever, but I like to dress in black. I think black is justified professionalism from top to bottom. If you would say, even your t-shirts, even if you're gonna have a t-shirt that has your business on it, I really, really feel like black. You might think some people might not agree because they're looking at the summertime. Who wants to be having on black in the summer? But to me, I think it makes it more professional. And I think that it will shows, like you said, it will attract those type of clients, the professional clients, those those people that working in the government and those type of clients versus somebody. I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm discriminating on their workplace, but you know what I'm talking about. I think black is more appropriate.
It's classic.
I agree with you.
Yeah, even if it's some black slacks, not even black jeans, black slacks and a t-shirt, nice, crisp, iron t-shirt, with your logo on it, like you, Dr. Brocknett. You got your collar shirt, it's black, but it has your logo,
I think, and I agree with you with that, because I do wear a lot of black, and people always say, why you always, for one, a number of reasons, because they do look professional, and then they also make me look small. So, those two things, it works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I would say, like for me, I totally get where you're coming from, Marguerite, where you said the black looks so professional. You can address the person from the everyday job, the nitty gritty job, all the way up to the CEO. It looks great for everybody. And like you pointed out, for me personally, it took a minute for me to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And it took me to actually do some research where I found out that not only am I establishing a brand for my company, but I also have a personal brand. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure, like, people probably say, child, he wear that same shirt every week. I'm not going to tell y'all how many of these shirts I have. Right. I could go probably a whole month, go to work every day and still have some shirts left over because I order them like that, so that I always have them. But because it becomes a uniform for me, so when people see you, they start to associate. And so what I did, I said, I know my little chair, when people see this little emblem, I want them to think of my business no matter where they see it. If they see it on a sticker, if they see it on a salon logo, if they see it on the internet, they can start to associate it with me. And so it has become my uniform. And like you said, Pam, as long as you dress professionally, you can definitely attract a wide group of people. Now, I have been the person where, like I said, it took me a minute. I would wear a sweatsuit and I would wear, jeans. In the summertime, I love my little cutoff jean shorts, all that kind of stuff. But eventually I was like, okay, you don't look like you're going to work. You don't really look like you have any business right now. But I said, well, I'm going to start putting on my shirt. Even if I wear on my cutoff jeans, I can still have something that looks like my business, right? So
Right.
that's one thing that I would say is just think about whatever you want your personal brand to be. If you want to be that super trendy stylist, looking stylist, and you're working in that atmosphere, fine,
Mhm.
have at it.
Right.
You're in an
Mhm.
atmosphere where it doesn't really call for that, where it's more of a structured environment, you may have to dress that part until you
Right.
have your own, where, like we said earlier, you can establish whatever guidelines you want for your personal
Right.
business.
Mhm.
And and to piggyback, and you think about it, not us even dressing the part to attract the type of clients we're trying to attract, is that in the person that's working in the salon, and how our clients may look at, if you got somebody renting a booth,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you allow them to abide by the rules from firsthand on your dress code, for one.
That's it.
And sometimes when they get out of character, you got to kind of bring them back, because that kind of happened to me.
Right. I was going
And
to say,
and
what
my
do you do?
and
Because
my
if
and
you have a booth renter that says to you, well, yes, I want to rent a booth in your salon, but I don't want to dress like, I don't want to dress like you guys. I don't want to wear a knee-length skirt with pantyhose and heels. I want to wear my thigh-high boot and my, super mini, my micro mini, and all this kind of stuff. What would you do?
Right.
well, for me, I think because for one, when you're coming down for your interview, you have some guidelines to go by. And my
Mhm.
whole thing is, all I require if you to have your things nice and neat, and
Right.
wear black.
Mhm.
And wear
Right.
black. And
Okay.
if you can't, you can substitute it with some blue or something dark,
Something
but
dark.
everything
Mhm.
nice and neat,
Right.
And I'm not one of those people that believe in head wraps,
Okay.
and having your hair wrapped up and going outside. I don't believe in that. So that's something that, because you have people, and they got some cute little head wraps that people do wear, but I don't think it is professional. I mean,
No.
you might throw the monkey wrench at me. I don't know,
No.
but I don't think I just take that as something that you use, inside your home. Like,
Okay.
I don't believe in going outside. And then I want to say this. I was working in other places. I've worked in several different places, and yes, they have different ways that they dress. And
Mhm.
I wasn't never a person that wears sneakers. I always wore some type of casual shoes. I'm not gonna say heels to work
Right.
in and stand in all day. No, no. But I wear some all black, comfortable shoes, but not sneakers, until I start working in this facility. And I kind of, it was out of my comfort zone, just blending in with everybody else. And that could happen sometimes too. But now I'm back into my own element, in my own space, and I make up the rules.
Right.
There you go.
Bottom
So,
line.
yeah.
That's it.
Well,
And
you
then I
really
just
wanted
wanted
to
to
work with
piggyback
me.
off, like, and that's the thing, when you have someone coming in to interview, and again, hopefully that they did their research. Sometimes they just happen to walk past and just check in to see, if you're hiring or so forth, whatever. But then, once you set up an appointment for them to come back and we actually have a formal sit down, I'm actually looking for you to dress the part. I'm not saying wearing a 3-piece suit or anything like that, but I'm really looking for you to be neat. And I'm hoping that you actually did your research, far as what I did. So that way, coming in, you'll have an open mind, understanding where I'm trying to go.
Mhm.
And then if you're not trying to ride that ride, then you need to get off and not even start here, And I think that's a big thing too, where you have to be upfront, in the beginning. A lot of times we are owners, we be looking for somebody to get in and fill that chair. We need that booth rent and so forth, whatever. And I'm just not that person. I'm looking for like a team oriented, people to work with. So I just can't have any mo-show coming off the street, and then I have to deal with, okay, you're not here on time. Okay, you don't want to abide by the rules. You don't want to iron your clothes. You want to, I can't do that. So I think when you set the tone and you stick to the tone, I think it would actually be no problems. And then you still probably get a few people that might want to fight back with you and so forth, whatever. because I try to adapt to a lot of different things, and I knew it just wasn't for me.
Mhm.
You know, like for instance, like I remember when the $50 weaves came out. You know, that was a big thing. Everybody was doing the $50 weaves, it was on every corner. And I was like, okay, you know what? How is this really working? Like, how are they making this money doing these $50 weaves? You know, they coming in with the hair already clean, and then you got somebody braiding down and you just stitch it. But then when I started doing it, I don't even think that I lasted a month. And I was so upset because like we didn't put the flyers out, and I'm just saying like, oh God, I gotta honor this. But luckily we did have a date on the flyer to where we was able to stop at a certain time. But outside of that, that wasn't the clientele that I wanted.
Right.
There you go.
know, so it was just like, okay, this is too much work and of a headache to be trying to get these people in. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is not what I'm trying to do. That's not my avenue. That's not what I want to do. It works for some people, but it's just not for me. So I feel when you set the tone and you stick to that tone, you attract the type of people, you know, even far as them coming to work with you or the clientele.
And so relating that to, because one thing that we're supposed to be kind of incorporating with this particular segment of the show was the student population. So relating that to the student population, what would you say?
Now for the student, and even then, students, because I come across a lot of students, and I think we had talked about this one time before, you know, because so many people reach out to me on Instagram or even by word of mouth. And I've just ran into, you know, just the younger generation really not want to work. You know, even prior to the pandemic, they were already doing stuff at home, you know, outside of school, you know, so they didn't got so comfortable with doing that. So for them to actually come into a salon environment, it's kind of different because it's structure. At home, it's totally different. So if I can find somebody that was willing to be trained, and that way I can show them right from wrong, and not to really even say that they're doing anything wrong. But a lot of times, that's why I always say I tip my hat off to Shanae. Shanae's one of those teachers that's going to show them from everything from A to Z. They're not going to cut corners and just do the book part. You know, she's going to give the real life experience once they get out of school. Like, okay, hey, this is what you need to do. You can't just go in here half doing this and half doing that. And I just feel the kids nowadays, you know, they go into the class and they sit back, they do each other hair and post stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and then they get clients that go home, and they really don't have the structure of the business part of it. They just have the structure of styling. And so there's so much more to that. So I would definitely train if they're allowed to be trained.
So that's a great segue, because what I would say to Shanae, since you are dealing with the student population, what could we say from the professional, you know, voice? What could we say to a student or, well, let's take the new graduate, right? What could we say to them as they're approaching their licensure exam, and to get them outside of the house, to get them to step away from wanting to be inside their house?
And that's a good point, because, you know, the demographic of student in terms of age now for me is the younger generation. And you are so correct. I'm dealing with, you know, they like to look at the Instagram fame. They want to look at the YouTube, and I'm trying to embark upon them that you can get that and be that individual, right? And then the other thing is that many of them are practicing unlicensed. And what I tell my students is this: like, you don't have to have a license to sell lashes, to sell hair, things of that nature. You're getting the license because the state is stating to you that if you're touching another person, another body, that we want to ensure that you're going to do it at the level of safety, at the level of cleanliness, professionalism, and all of that. And I think that they miss it. And I say this because the culture of our community is that we did hair at home for so long that they are able, and then the pandemic just made it kind of even worse, where they're like, well, people are going to come to them. And we go to a cousin, an auntie that could braid, and most of these kids are coming in already knowing how to braid. You know, that's one of our foundations. And just for the record, one of the big manufacturers of books that we use to teach the curriculum, they finally added the Africans first in the curriculum, and they had the Egyptians for so long. And so I'm thinking that came along when the whole natural hair care movement began to occur. And so giving them that history on, you know, why we did the braiding and why it's important to make sure that you don't develop carpal tunnel over time because of the ergonomics, and just from a holistic perspective for as far as family, community, we have to talk to them and encourage them. Don't be like, girl, I know you're making money. Are you adding to what they're doing? That's not correct. Because at the end of the day, this business could literally help them purchase their first car. It could literally help them purchase their home. But if you don't get this legitimized on paper, then when it comes time to do the business side of filing taxes, you know, we're not having those conversations with the youth.
Right.
We're just talking about how talented they are and go ahead and make your money, but we don't even know how to teach them, in many cases, how to file for an LLC to protect.
Right.
So to answer the question without me going around in a circle, is just simply, it's our responsibility to, whether they want to hear it or not, tell them the truth about a business. You come to cosmetology school, barber school, esthetician school, nail school, because you want to, and if you don't understand this, this is what I need you to understand. You're coming because you're interested in operating a business. Whenever you exchange money for services or products, then you are in business. And so if we can just change that and embark that on the youth, and make it not so glamorous in a way where you're skipping the steps to success.
Right.
Because I've met so many women that has said to me, well, Shanae, you know what, when I was in high school, I got my cosmetology hours from there. I said, well, are you still doing hair? Well, no, I wish that I wish I had finished. And I shared it with my students today. I think that they're so young, but they don't have the capacity to understand. I get a few that get it from the get-go, but they're still battling with being youthful and gaining money. And so I think it's us. I think it's the salon owners. I would love for salon owners to be in partnership with cosmetology schools that graduate these people into the community. I would like for the cosmetologists that are out here practicing to be more in tune with the state board requirements so that they can see what we're required to teach them. And so, you know, when you want to tie in that school perspective, there is no voice from the student because they're going through the experience, but those on the outside can really help them to create a voice and to understand business. So,
right. So Marguerite, what would you say then if you came across say a new graduate who has, while they were in school, they were working from their home, and now, you know, you see the talent and you see the promise and you see just all that they could be. What would you say to them to bring them out of that house into the salon atmosphere?
And you know what? It's funny that you asked that, because trust and believe me, I've been trying, but you know, they gotten so comfortable at working at home and not having that overhead. It's a little bit, it's very, very challenging. Because I have seen, you know, looking on in the local area, seeing some young ladies even having people to recommend some people that they know that's working in their house. And when I reach out to them and asking them if they would like to come into the salon setting, they just automatically say no. But for those that I know that's really, really talented, you know, and, you know, just talking with them and encouraging them the importance of being inside of a salon versus home, you know, some have came out, some has stepped outside into their own into the salon setting. But for me to be able to try to get in there, I just kind of pretty much share with them the importance and the difference, because I've been there for many, many years of working outside of the home. And I can tell them that, you know, it's important to be able to, you can be able to reach more people being outside your home. And then it shows that you're, you know, I'm not going to say it's really, really passionate, because some people come into the salons and they're still not passionate, but that shows the potential client that, okay, I'm working towards being more on a professional level by working in salon, because you're going to get that board where you're going.
Right.
And then state board visits salons. They don't visit homes.
You know,
So-
where
Right.
the owner, the stylist, the person that's bringing you into their facility, and if they want to connect to you in a way to be able to teach you the proper way. And a lot of things that I do, I still do it based upon way back when in 1991 on the professional side of things. You know, some things just never change.
Right.
And I would want them to be able to experience those things and activate in those skills that they have inside of them and doing it the proper way. You know, so I do share that for those ones that I have came across on a personal level, some that I know personally, but for those that I try to reach that don't know me, you know, just reaching out to them from Instagram or somebody referral. They don't know me, but those that know me know me personally. They see where I was and where I am, and they kind of look up to me.
Right.
So it was kind of easy. It's easier for it to connect to those ones. Then you have some that's just afraid to step outside because they don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to expect. They've been doing it in the house for so long, and they're afraid to step outside of in-home into a salon setting because they don't know what to expect.
Right.
You know, that's just with anything when you coming from out of your comfort zone. That's their comfort zone. And it works for them, but it might not be the proper thing to do. And I think that for like Shanae, she working in the school, she can pretty much encourage those young ladies and young men to be able to step into the professional outside of the home from the start.
Right.
From the start, it's like a babe, and you teaching the babe to walk. You teach them, like I always say, a child only knows what they learn from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like them coming into, you know, Shanae's school and working with her, and she instilling into them, because at that point she have gained some trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
she
then
have gained some trust between her and the students, and you know, they don't know. They come in there for her to teach them. So
Right.
they only know what they learn from her. If she encouraging them to be able to go straight into the professional world, that it will be better. And then on top of that, and trying to instill in them that the educational part, even beyond them starting off in cosmetology school, you know, the additional education that will help you become as professional as, you know, you can be, is just keeping yourself active. That's called being active in the industry.
A lot of times too, I also let them know too, especially when they're young and they're working at home, a lot of times they get burnt out. As like what Shanae say, you know, they start off and have hours, but then they don't complete. So because they're so burnt out. Because, you know, of course, when you're doing hair at home, those clients are not wanting to pay the prices that they would actually pay in a salon. So you doing all this work, because one of the young girls that sent me pictures and stuff, she was a braider, and she's only charging $75 for box braids. And I'm saying, like, okay, you braiding for 4 hours, 5 hours tops, depending on how quick you can braid, and you $75. Like, you gonna have carpal tunnel, you're gonna be burnt out, you're gonna be tired by the time you do anything else. And it's just like it's I try to get them to understand it might be worth it to you right now because that money is coming in and clients is calling you, but after a while it's going to be like, okay, you're going to be burnt out, you're not going to have a license to show it, and then you really not going to even care for actually wanting to get back in the field, period, because you're so burnt out. You know, and when I got out of school, I tried it. People used to try to talk me into it. I last 2 days at home. 2. When I say 2 days at home, I was just like, okay, this is too much. For one, I don't want you coming in my house, and it's a certain way I like things. Even in the salon, you just can't come in here and throw your stuff all on the floor and throw this down and put your feet up on. I don't have time. I don't want you looking at everything that I got. Oh, girl, that's just too much of you being in my personal space.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even a lot of people I know have a salon set up in their house and they have a whole different interest in all of that. But it's just like, okay, you know what? It's just too much of you in my comfort space. That's my comfort space. Once I get home, I'm home. I don't want to bring work home.
Mhm.
You know, even with during the pandemic, a lot of people, my kids will tell you, I don't even have shampoo at home
Me
to do
neither.
my hair
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
at all. Half the time I can't find a comb.
I'm trying to tell you, girl.
So, you know, it's just like, and it's just not for me. It works for some people, but again, it's just like I like to have the difference. I don't want
The
me
separation.
working at home and being at home. It's just too much. And look at this one, can't even enjoy her anniversary.
Hey, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Y'all can't hear me.
Oh, there you
there
go.
you go.
And then you
This
sneak
one-
it. I'm telling
I
my
just
brother,
sneak-
you sneak it.
Don't-
You sneak
I
it.
just want to say hi.
Hi.
Enjoy, y'all enjoy.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Robinson.
So one of the things that I wanted to say in terms of, I thought Marguerite really hit it on the head when she talked about, well, a couple of things. One of the things that I often say to people that I know that are in the home is one of the things that was said earlier. You will reach so many more people outside of your home
Mhm.
than you will inside. And
Mhm.
yes, you will have, your phone will ring, and yes, your doorbell will ring and all that, like you said, Pam, but who really wants, or when you have a business that's actually booming, you have to mentally separate.
Mhm.
So you have to
Yeah.
be able to compartmentalize your life in that kind of way where,
Right.
I'm at work and I'm doing work, but when I step outside this door, I'm in a different mode, so you can
Exactly.
leave
Love
it
it.
behind and you can compartmentalize it. So that's
Right.
one of the things that I often tell people that I know are in the home. But then also, like we said, to me, it's the professionalism, but it's also the respect level. I believe that you
Right.
get a totally different level of respect from a client when they're not in your home. Because like you said, even though you may have like a at-home setup where
Right.
you have your shampoo bowl, your chair, and your station, to a lot of them, they still realize they're at your home.
Exactly.
Some people do it, and I know they do, they charge what they would charge in the salon, but I would tell people you can always charge more.
Exactly.
If you are running your business, you are
As
not
a
going to be
business.
able to graduate those prices the way they need to when you are keeping them in the same
Right.
space in your home. When you
Mhm.
show people that there's a graduation in your business, it makes sense to them that there's a graduation in price.
Mhm.
Like we went to, Pam and I are members of the National Beauty Cultures League. We may have started at one point where we just started telling people, oh, now we're back in school, right?
Right.
So you may be able, you decide you want to raise your price, but now it's 10 years later, we've been doing this and we are have completed the program. Now I feel more confident and I feel that I am worth the price increase.
That's it.
Because I've gained so much and now I have so much more to give to you at this level in my life. So like you said, Marguerite, that continuous education is so important. And you get that, to me, when you're outside of your own doors. When you're inside, you really have no accountability to anyone but yourself. But when you're outside, you're accountable to those you work with in the salon, your salon owners. When you're licensed, you're accountable really to the board because you're saying that I have taken this exam and you have licensed me, but I also agree that I'm going to practice in the safest manner that I can. Practice in the most professional manner that I can to uphold the standards of the industry. So I think you guys really hit it on the head with that one. Go ahead, Margaret.
And then I was gonna say, like, when you're out in the mix of other professional stylists or whatever you want to, professionals, then you gain to learn more information.
Absolutely.
Like when you in the house, you're not getting that information you need to be able to go to these classes or anything like that. When you're connected to professional people, then you're connected to them in a certain way that the at-home people are not. Absolutely. And then I was going to say another thing that A lot of people keep saying, won't you get a salon in your house? Won't you? I've done that. I did that. And I don't want to do that. Like for one,
And I
because
don't want it
I
again.
don't want everybody knowing my address for one.
Right.
That's it.
And two, it like you said before, it just causes too much. You got some people have other people in their household.
Mhm.
It's a distraction all the way around board to you, the people in the house. You know, it's plenty years that went by where I was in my mama's kitchen. She couldn't even cook her Christmas dinner without me with a line of people in the way. You know, and then I want to say another thing. I have a young cousin that's 17. She lives in Pennsylvania, and she was here this past weekend, and she did my sister-in-law's hair. She's very, very talented. She's still in high school, but one thing I heard her mama say all the time, when she get from high school, she definitely going to cosmetology school. And so, you know, you have some young people that's willing to listen and understand and receive what you're giving them. And then you have some that just, you know, it's just a fun and game to them.
Right. It's a hobby.
So,
I
you
think
know,
what they need to know is that you get the license one time. My grandmother gave me the best piece of information.
That's it.
She's be 85 this year. She says, Shanae, never let your license lapse.
Oh, yes.
Ever.
And I've had, you understand, I've had my license for 24 years. 10 years ago, it didn't dawn on me until I wanted to become a cosmetology instructor. And I was like, wow, you know, I'm constantly renewing my license.
Mhm.
And the other conversation is this, you know, I wanted to make sure we differentiate the difference between those who are licensed that may be doing hair at home
Mhm.
versus the unlicensed population of
Right.
individuals that are working. And in some cases, they're doing certification classes and things of that nature. And so I remember having a conversation with my students, you know, just kind of breaking down the difference in a certification versus a license. And I think I might have
Right.
said it here. A
Mhm.
certification will never trump a license. The license is issued by your state. We as licensed professionals gain certifications all the time. And it's just
Yeah.
specialty that we have, and it's stating that you are certified to do this particular thing, but your
Right.
state is the one that licensed you. And if you get it together, either you're gonna listen to somebody that says, hey, you're talented, you need to go get a cosmetology license.
Right.
But you may not have chosen to do that because your own life started to get into the way and you decided not to. But understand that you just need it once.
That's
Mhm.
And
it.
renew.
Honey,
And if
I'm
we can
looking
get
for
that
a
culture,
stick to throw in the wheel right
you
now.
need
I
to-
can't find a stick to throw in the wheel. 'Cause
you
I'm
right, so
coming.
you ain't
I'm
gonna throw
coming
rich
with
at
the
me, Dr.
stick.
Broadney.
Because I'll tell you this.
Come
So
on.
you made a good point. You differentiated the licensed person working from the home versus the
And it's-
unlicensed person, which is so true,
True.
right?
Yeah.
True.
In my mind, they still shouldn't be in the home. Now,
Mhm.
if they are, they should have a dedicated space. Like Marguerite said, she may have been licensed, but in my personal opinion, I'm going to make sure that I say that, in my personal opinion, Marguerite as a licensed person should not be in her kitchen because that diminishes her. It diminishes her brand and her business, right? And
Right.
so I look at one of the things that a cosmetology teacher told me. She said, do you understand that there are very few professions where you have to be licensed to touch a person?
Mhm.
We are one of those professions. And so we have to stop thinking of ourselves as just or
Right.
only.
Exactly.
We are part of the very few. And as that, we have to think that your doctor, are you going to a doctor that's in there that's going to open you up on their couch?
I'm gonna throw a monkey with. I wish I had a fan.
Wait,
You got a fan or you got
because
yeah, I give it to
and
you.
it's funny that
Are you going to the dentist that's going to lean you back in their kitchen chair, you know, to look at your teeth? You are not. And so the same way that we as people, we really do, we revere those professions, because
Right.
we teach our kids, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, but even the lawyer that practices from their home has a dedicated space. So if
Right.
you're going to be that in-house professional, make sure that you're able, like Marguerite said, separate your business space
Business.
from the common space. I should
Mhm.
not see Marguerite's husband walking by.
Mhm.
He
The
should not be
kids sitting
sitting
there
there
watching
talking about,
TV.
hey, Reed, the kids are ready to eat. When are you going to be done? You shouldn't hear all that. You know what I'm saying? When I
Right.
go
You're
to get
right.
my hair done, I need to
Yes.
come get my hair done and feel like I'm in the salon
So
space.
I'm right.
And
Right.
now the other part of Monkey Wrench, I'm gonna say, and you got to tell us this, Marguerite, is the people who work in salon suites.
You went on a pause. Is it people that work in salon suites professional?
So
That's
yes.
the
So
question.
or,
That's the
or well,
question.
put it this way, no, because it is still
Yeah.
professional, right?
Right.
But one
It's
of
an
the
option.
things, and I'm sorry I didn't
To a
direct
certain point.
correctly.
To a certain point.
The way, okay, so see, you got to bring that in. But what I was going to say is, you mentioned about being amongst people in the salon, right?
Right. Mhm.
But we know that when you're in the salon suite, you're pretty much by yourself.
Right.
So what do we say to the person who's in the suite that still needs to maybe grow their business? Because I know a lot of students that come out of school and they say, I'm not fooling with no salon. I'm not dealing with nobody trying to tell me what time I got to
Mhm.
be there, what I have to wear. I'm going to get me a $300 a week suite because I do weaves all day long. And that's
Right.
all I'm going to do. I'm going to have them come in there already shampooed. I don't even need a shampoo bowl, Mr. Sweet Man. They come in already shampooed, and I have a braider in there. That's all she gonna do is braid with her one little comb that's hitting the floor. And she gonna pick it up and
Unsanitary.
use it
That's
with
it.
somebody
What?
else. So, what would you say to a person that says, I want to work in a suite? What would you say to them to help them branch out of that, or to feel like there's value in being in a salon space?
Okay,
Well,
so I want to
okay, go ahead.
kind of explain what I was saying when I said connected.
Mhm.
I'm saying whether they're in the salon suite or whether they're in a salon, but just being connected to other professional stylists,
Mhm.
per se, that you got a group of people and they really on about their education. They super excited about making sure they get to hair shows, classes, and that type of thing. That's when I was saying, when I'm saying connected, not
Connected.
saying just being in a suite by himself. If they stand connected to somebody else like-minded
Mhm.
professionals that's willing and able and ready to keep moving up the ladder versus being stagnate where they are. Because you have those that been in it for so long that they think they know it all, but it's not enough education to keep you from keeping yourself educated. So I just wanted to put that out there. No matter if you're in a suite, just get yourself connected. If they decide they want to go into a suite, make sure you stay connected with somebody that's been in the industry for a while, or somebody that that's not stagnated and comfortable where they're at. Make sure you get yourself connected to somebody that's moving,
Right.
that's
Right,
not still,
mentor.
just
Great
moving.
answer. Great answer.
Right.
So
Enhancing their skills.
what I wanted to say about the suite, because I did a suite for 2 years.
Okay.
Now the suite can actually be good if you are business minded. And what I mean by that is because a lot of the times people that get the suites are normally not licensed. And that's just my experience that I've dealt with. I'm not gonna say everywhere because I know there's probably a few that do have them. And I feel when you're licensed, to me, you starting out is fine, but you're gonna outgrow that suite. And then if you're gonna get a double suite or a triple suite, you might as well go get a building, because by the time that add up, it's just, to me, you're not looking at the finance part of it. But as far as the suites, a lot of times, because they don't recommend for you to have anything once you get a suite.
Mhm.
They not recommending you to have a license. They're not getting a salon license. They don't have a cosmetology license, so they can just go in there and do what they want to do, just like as if they were home. So they not, so that's one of the things. That's the only thing I hate about
right.
the suites. because the suites are not putting down like, okay, you need insurance, you need this, you need
Not
that, as far
regulated.
as if you
Oh.
was in the facility. Normally, if you get a building, your landlord is looking for you to have insurance. They want a binder to
Mhm.
see, you know, if your insurance is going to lapse and so forth, whatever, something happened or the building catch on fire, if you leave something on, you liable to pay for whatever else, you know, what happens.
Mhm.
So that's my downside as far as the
That's good.
suites, because the suites don't
It
actually
is.
recommend
I-
for you to have anything. You can just go in there, hey, like I want a suite, and that's it. All you doing is giving your license, your driver's license,
Mhm.
and paying your money. That's it. That's all that's recommended. It's not recommended for you to have, if you have a barber, for you to have a barber salon license or a cosmetology license or nail tech. It's not recommended for you to have any of that. So you can just go in there and do what you want to do, pretty much. So
Mhm.
that's the
Wow.
downside of it,
It's
because
the
it's no
space.
difference than you being at home because you don't have a license.
Right.
You know, so
Wow.
you're still not practicing the business part of it. It's just like, okay, hey, I got a suite, and you saying that I have a business, but technically, no. A business is having all your stuff in order.
Mhm.
And if you don't have all your stuff in order, it's not legit business.
Right. So what would you say, Shanae? And then
I
we go
think-
back to Marguerite.
Okay. So I've worked in suites before, and what I missed was the camaraderie. And I thought about this. I said, you know, things are shifting in the business where people are finding money and making money with the real estate of owning like almost like a multi-home versus, you know, but this is a multi-building. And so it's really about money. At the end of the day, we're in an
Mhm.
industry to make money and to aspire to different business deals. But the one thing that I would say when I worked in the salon suites is that I miss the camaraderie of being in the salon, and some of them miss that.
Mhm.
There's has been so much experience that's housed in working with other stylists, the
Mhm.
good and the bad. The ones that
Mhm.
don't want you to see nothing what they doing, they got
Right.
the shit that they blocking you. Like, you can't even have them conversations. It's just like me teaching the students. I'd be like, look, there are just certain staples that I got to make sure that you get,
Mhm.
even if
Right.
you never use them. Because when you have a conversation and say you went to cosmetology school, I want you to be able to be like, yep, I remember
Yep.
clicking and turning.
Exactly.
I remember
Click and turn. That's right. Click and turn.
So it's the same with the experience of the salon business when we were all together. And, you know, you may have had that most experienced stylist in the house, then you have the young one, and they're
Mhm.
sharing up some stuff, and you want to go over there and kind of assist them. And I tell students it's a dog eats dog world, meaning that, you know,
That's
you
it.
really have to, you know, get that tough skin about this business and learn it and fail forward. So these suites, to me, when I hear students, and I also, for me, when they say they're going into a suite, I always think about mentorship that they need.
Mhm.
Also,
Mhm.
when they say, well, Ms. Starnes, you know, my family's gonna buy me a salon, this, that, and the other. And I that is something that I always think about and say, you know what, you still need some mentorship, because
Right.
Mhm.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, mentorship and coaching just helps you to get to your
Better.
goals quicker, sooner,
Yeah.
and faster. So you don't have to go
Mhm.
down the long roads of not understanding business. And so that's what I would contribute to the answer. So I mean, I think that salon suites are options. I think that the main thing is making sure that they do not do it alone, so that
Mhm.
they can understand how this business runs. I know you're
Right.
talented. I got some students that will run circles around me. I'm not saying that. It's not about that, because it's about understanding business and
Mhm.
how to run good business and how to
Mhm.
grow your business. And you could do it in a salon suite, but again, I don't care. I think any new stylist, anything that you touch new,
Mhm.
operate like you experienced, because every
Mm-mm.
experienced person was a new beginner.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So I still go back to mentorship.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'll say this. I totally agree, because as you guys were talking, I thought about my career in the industry. And I often tell people I kind of happened upon the industry, and
Mhm.
I really attribute, I attribute my little bit of success, the little bit of success I got, I attribute it to the teachers that I had for building a strong foundation. But I really attribute the growth to the ladies that I worked with over the years,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because those were the ones who really taught me the
Right.
styling. Like when we came
Mhm.
out of school, I was used to wet setting senior citizens' hair. So if Shanae, if you would have came to me and said,
Hey,
"Oh, set my hair, baby," them rollers would have been that
we sit
big,
there. I know that's
and you'd have had them little tight curls, and that would have been it. And I'd have been like, "Well, that's what
back
you asked
combed it
for.
and send you on your way.
That's it." But I said, thank God I had those people who
Yeah.
said, some weren't as nice, and I share that with students. Like you said, it is dog eat dog.
Eat dog.
And there were people who looked and said, okay, yeah, you can't do no hair, so watch this. I watched my clients move from my chair to their chair. But then there was those ones that said, baby, I see what's happening, and this is what we're going to do. And so they began to train me, and they said, well, what is it that you're trying to learn? What are you trying to do? Those became those mentors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ironic thing, I always thought a mentor was somebody older than you. Most of the people that taught me how to do were much younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
But they knew they were very talented, and they had been in the industry longer than me. And they said, but this is how you have to, this is what you do to keep the person in your chair. Let me show you how to do this little style. And I'll tell you that one style I learned, which was just how to feather hair. I swear
a long way
for 10 years, nonstop.
Everybody had the same style.
Everybody here the same now. Marguerite, everybody's here.
That's your signature. That's what they call the signature.
It's the signature. But that's why I always tell people also, don't ever worry about not being the best.
Right.
Because I will tell them, I said, you know what? I'm not a super trendy stylist. I'm not a super trendy hair cutter, but I found my niche through the mentorship, which was I know science and I can deal with healthy hair. That's my gift to make.
That's it. I ain't got no fans
growing. So
that's it.
So that once I figured that out, I said, okay, that's the business for me.
That's right.
And that's how I'm going to continue to grow. So no, I'm not growing as the Instagram fame stylist that's, cutting and twirling all these things, but all my pictures are things of healthy hair, and so that's what I think that the students have to tap into, that mentorship, so that they will be able to grow, but it will also help them find themselves so that they can find out, who do I want to be within this industry? So we have about 10 to 15 minutes left, and we don't want to belabor anybody's time, but I'll say if there's any topics that, let me ask Pam, did you have anything else for us, Pam?
No, that is it. I enjoyed this topic. Like I said, we can go on and on and on about just professionalism, period. But no, that is all I have. We can start with the next topic so we can.
So we just kind of wanted to do a quick little round robin around the table, just kind of talking about, anything that may be on our minds in terms of the industry. So I'll say Marguerite, Shanae, Pam, if you guys have anything, just throw it out there. We have about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll do our wrap up.
All right. I would like to
do.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Shanae.
Healthy hair.
I would like to say, like you were just saying, far as the mentorship and so forth, whatever. What I do like is, because even with you guys, I've learned a lot of things from you guys, and just I think it gave me more confidence in doing this whole platform. Dr. Brosnan, I used to be saying, I don't want to talk in front of nobody. I don't want to hear. I'm more of a behind the scene type of person. I'm like, okay, I'm good there. I give you some advice and stuff or whatever, but I don't always have to be in the limelight. Right. So I just want to thank y'all for actually pulling me out.
Come on, girl.
So, we are happy to have you.
Yep.
So what do you have, Shanae?
No, I wanted to just add, and thank you, Dr. Pam, for that transparency, because I see a lot of talent behind the chair, a lot of talent owning salons. And because we are connected globally, locally, that it's time for us to have that voice. And this mic behind you is not for just to be back there. It's because I really want to encourage our industry to develop their speaking. And I mean, I want you to teach the skill that you know. I want you to teach the knowledge and the experiences that you have, because you know, behind the chair is good, but you know, there are different ways to begin to monetize what you know, y'all. And you don't have to be on Instagram, you know, or
Right.
anything like that to do it, but you do have to develop your communication skills and speak your knowledge and show up for events at local churches, women's empowerments, men's movements, help the young boys. I was talking on another platform and I was just saying, you know, that is a whole nother sector where we can be teaching them how to take care of their grooming with shampoo, conditioners, how to clean their brushes. And so I just think that we have so much knowledge. If we calculated the amount of years that is sitting up on this panel, you know, it's a lot to discuss and to have, and it's a lot of power with that. And so I think that if you are staying in this industry and you're getting burnt out, I think shifting over to learning how to be more comfortable in front of the camera, audibly, if you like audio, so that we can get in front of other platforms. You know, this is going to be, I don't think online platforms are going anywhere anytime soon, but the world is going to open back up. And this industry, we love to be in the house. We love to be in a classroom. We love that. And so there are people across the country that need to hear what we're talking about. There are clients that need to be fed the knowledge. We need to teach them, and we can monetize with that. And so, you know, that's really my movement. And that would be the only topic, you know, a portion of one of the books that I wrote. I talk about the principle of the art of selling online to the masses. And it's not what you think. It's really about just getting on the camera, getting on the audio and sharing and creating digital content. I don't want us to be left behind when it comes to
I hear you.
that $1 billion industry. So that's all I wanted to say. You know, we can really make a difference if we just decide to not be afraid to share our experiences. These kids need it. These young individuals that are coming into the industry need it, and we have it.
Absolutely. So, Marguerite, do you think that you feel a lot more comfortable now?
I do. I am honestly grateful for you guys. Because I was telling Shanae, no, that's why I say, I hear you. You know, it's plenty of times when we first got started, I talked about these things. And I know that it wasn't no coincidence that Dr. Suzette invited me to this panel. Sometimes other people can see in you what you can't see in yourself. And I've shared that with my clients. They was like, no way. I mean, you can do that. You know, you sit here and you talk to us day in and day out. Because I'm one of those stylists that love to educate my clients. I promise you I don't sit in silence in my salon and when somebody is in my chair. I'm a talker. And sometimes, you know, when people are not talkers, you kind of slack back a little bit, but I don't stop talking. You know, and so that's just me. And I know that I don't know why in the world I was a little nervous about coming before the platform and speaking. You know, I don't know. I just felt like I was kind of nervous of allowing people to see me. I can talk day in and day out, but just seeing me. And I think then and making sure that I know the stuff, but you know, not being and challenging is good, but sometimes, you know, you might not know, you know, all what you're supposed to know. And I guess that's what's one of the things that probably stopped me from reaching my full potential and just coming out and being able to recording myself in my salon and speaking and talking to my clients. Sometimes now that I've been on this platform, sometimes I try to catch myself because the conversations be so good and the questions be so phenomenal that I'm like, God, I should have recorded that so I could take it back to my to the platform, right? So, but you know, and I'm really grateful that this happened because I can't see it, but I know God got something in store for me. And you know, it's one of the things that has been crossing my mind for many years. I knew it was something else in me that God wanted to bring out of me. I didn't know what it was at that given time, but I knew it was something in this field because I love it so much. I have a passion for what I do. It's not, and I tell people, it's not about the style. I know you want something nice, but to me, it's about the health of the hair. And so I would continuously say that, and I'm grateful that I'm on this platform. And I think my clients are excited about me being on this platform too, because they see in me what I have in me, you know, and so I'm forever grateful for you guys. The topics is phenomenal. It's much needed, you know, and I wish that we can have more people to come on. And I think that sometimes we probably should. I think that we all could be beneficial from it. But I think that because I was just saying that I want to kind of, because I'm one of those people, if I send out a group text to my clients or whatever and invite them to something, and that's why I got to remember to not just tell them, but send out that mass message, and they will. I know a group of them will come onto this platform because it's some great information, and some of them even ask, is it something that I can go back and look at? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So, you know, thank you guys. I think you all are phenomenal. Shanae, you just, just some about you is just extremely phenomenal. You know,
I told her that the first time I met her.
You know, you don't even, it's like I'm just going beyond we recording and I'm just going on and on, but I'm a talker. And know that I'm a talker, but I want to say that when she talks, it's just so smooth. It's no like soothing. It's just real. It's she's passionate. It is, and she don't. It's her voice don't elevate or anything. You know, I just throw my hat off to you. You are great at what you do.
I practice.
You're great at what you do. And
that's why I want to encourage you guys. Like, you can do it, because I did not have a voice, and I don't want to go into all of that. That's a whole nother topic, but I had no voice, and I had to figure out how I could best communicate. And I worked on this for years. I've taken Toastmaster classes. I've taken multiple speaking classes. So understand that this is not just, it might have a little naturalness to it, you know, but please believe me, it took some work. So yeah, you guys are doing what you're supposed to do, and that's stepping forward, which is the first thing I did.
Absolutely. And you know what? I totally agree, because as you said that, Marguerite, the first thing that came to my mind was the first show that Suzette and I and Janae did. And the whole time I just sat there, and Suzette asked me after, she was like, well, you ain't have nothing to say. And I said, I'm just listening, because, you know, y'all gonna make me preach, but
Go ahead.
When God has a word, the ear listens, right? I really believe that you become captivated. And so a word is not always about, you know, what's in the Bible, but it's something that can be applied to your life. And when you're going through your spiel that night, I was thinking, oh my goodness, okay, that's applicable to me. Oh my goodness. And I'm thinking all these things, and it's starting to motivate me. And so I said, you know, you don't always have to speak. Sometimes you just have to sit back and listen. And so I'm so with you when you say, everybody say, I talk a lot too, Marguerite. I've always been a talker, but at one point in my life, I stopped. You know, and it was because I was not, you know, there's a difference between self-esteem and confidence, right? I had self-esteem, but I was not self-confident. So I did not speak. Right. And I refused to let people hear me. I sang when I was little. You know, I stopped singing. It was anything that was audible or vocal, I just pretty much stopped. and everybody wanted to know, like, well, why? Well, I can see that you do all these different things, but I was not self-confident. But I believe that we all, if we don't do it when we know we're supposed to do it, something will happen. You will have a catalyst.
To force us to do it.
Right.
Child.
For many of us, Suzette was the catalyst to put the
Mhm.
platform
Exactly.
together, right?
Yeah.
So you have that catalyst. And for me, it was my boss who constantly said, you can do this. And I was like, nope, nope,
Mhm.
nope, 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 until I had to, which was the catalyst, because I refused to see something fail.
That's
And
Mhm.
so I was like, in order for it not to fail, I have to do this.
Mhm.
So that was what put me out there, and I haven't shut up since. So now, all that being said, we are going to close out. We had a phenomenal show, and I think
Yes,
that
we
was
did.
like the best way to close it out, with us giving you a little bit more information about ourselves, and that's to our listening audience. I'll say, again, my name is Dr. Rashawn Broadnex. I'm here in the Washington, D.C. area. If you're looking for anything that is hair extension, hair replacement related, please reach out to me. You can do so via Facebook, via Instagram. We know when we repost this, all of our information will be in the chat section. I'll say, Shanae, go ahead and give us your sign out.
All right, my sign out is simple. I'm Shanae Starnes. I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and educator and trichologist. Be on the lookout for my boot camps and my books. That's my contribution to this industry and some of the speaking opportunities that I will produce. And I've enjoyed myself this evening.
All right, Marguerite.
Gosh, y'all be on it. I'm Marguerite, and I am in your Fredericksburg area. I'm your licensed cosmetologist, your hair loss practitioner. You can reach me on Facebook at Amore Hair Studios, Instagram at More Hair Studios, and amorehairstudios@gmail.com.
All right, and Pam.
All right, I am Dr. Pamela Hill. I greatly appreciate y'all tuning in every Tuesday with us. I'm actually a licensed cosmetologist, instructor, board certified trichologist. And as you see behind me, I'm into the healthy hair. I'm also located in the Fredericksburg area. I can also be reached on Facebook and Instagram with healthy hair.
All right. And so you have heard from our panel this evening. We had a phenomenal time, and we want to again say thank you to Dr. Suzette for pulling us all together as a unit. And we wish her safe travels as she gets ready to come back to her home. But we want to say again, thank you guys for joining us this evening, and wish you all a very good night, and look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. Right here on Facebook. Good night.
Right. Good night.
Right.
I forgot to